You are welcome to yet another episode of HN What's Your Say? The #1 listening show, where we discuss real issues with real people like you. We are still featuring R. Kelly. Real name Robert Sylvester Kelly. Also known as the R&B King. While struggling to silence the R&B King, we saw government commit numerous illegalities and break the laws multiple times, though in the shadow of impunity they have not been penalized for any of these wrong moves. The government and their Department of Justice counterparts appeared to have forgotten that R. Kelly does have rights as a citizen even if suspected of crime, and that there are in fact important governing laws that set the limits beyond which no authority can go to incriminate a person. During his takedown, R. Kelly's amendment rights were violated in many ways with no regret at all, and he was treated like he was never a citizen of this country. As though to suggest that when one is suspected of a crime they cease to be human and are stripped of all their rights and nationality. After denying him bail with no real reason but false claims that he was a flight risk, the authorities continued to violate R. Kelly's rights in many ways. We saw the government connive with the Bureau of Prisons officers to have his restricted communication records illegally leaked to the public through blogger Tasha K, who relayed the same to the Clary family. All intended to win over Azriel as a principal government witness. R. Kelly's right to privacy was infringed in a manner that would later on compromise his defense, having lost a potential witness to the prosecution. R. Kelly had been betrayed by the very institution that had the primary role of protecting his records and keeping them private. Imagine all his exchanges with his attorneys had been leaked, violating his client-attorney privacy right. As if that was not enough, the prejudice R. Kelly was subjected to throughout the two trials, first in New York and later on in Chicago, deprived him of his right to a fair and non-prejudicial trial which every American citizen must enjoy. The court instead arraigned over 40 witnesses, most of whom he was not charged for, just to make the jurors believe that R. Kelly was a very bad man and guilty, even before considering the evidence presented. By this point we had a highly prejudiced and already cheated R. Kelly held without bail, which court had completely no reason to deny him. In the meantime, Sony had made yet another malicious move when they dropped his music, denying him any further revenues from his great songs. This rather huge decision had been made before trial, which was way too early for the record label to draw conclusions of guilt. It is believed by many who observed the trend of events that Sony did this to cripple Kelly financially, in order to fail him in case he struck back or continued to pursue the record company for the millions they owe him. Remember, it is said that R. Kelly's legal ordeals all started when he visited the Bank of America and found a lot of his money missing, only to learn it had been taken out illegally by Sony. It's to no surprise therefore that Sony would do anything in their ability to ensure R. Kelly remains in prison at whatever cost possible. The epitome of violation which we are discussing today is when New York Judge Ann Donnelly ordered that money be taken out of R. Kelly's commissary to compensate the accusers, leaving him penniless in prison. Meanwhile, this was money collected by his supporters and fans and meant for his well-being while in prison. It appears as though the New York judge was always in a rush to take money out of R. Kelly's commissary, even though the defense had not necessarily failed to pay the restitutions demanded by her unfair judgment. Her quick hand signaled a sort of panic to make sure that the accusers, who they had likely promised a win and financial compensation if they cooperated, were sorted. Judge Donnelly took the part of alleged victim compensation very personal and in a scary manner, which reflected a possibility of compromise. In response to this form of defendant harassment, R. Kelly, with the help of his attorney Jennifer Bonjean, is suing the federal government, and guess what? He has a good cause. First of all, the matter for which his commissary account was garnished is until today still pending in the U.S. Court of Appeals. Even though the Chicago appeal saw the judges uphold the trial judge's decisions, the New York appeal is still in process and no verdict has yet been issued. For the trial judge to have ordered that his commissary, especially when the defense had not in any way suggested they had failed to pay, appeared rather fishy a move. If the judge had been fair enough, she was supposed to wait until these other avenues have been exploited before placing her hand into his commissary to take money that didn't even belong to Kelly. She also had to give plenty notices to the defendant so he can declare where and when he was going to come through. According to Sheila Dorsey, "I would like to say thank you to everyone standing behind R. Kelly. I truly love his singing, and as for Miss Bonjean, you are truly an angel fighting for him. R. Kelly did nothing wrong. It's all about greed and what they can get out of him for facts. Because why weren't the parents charged and locked up for fraud themselves or for their involvement, theft and lies? Set R. Kelly free. It's disturbing to see that with all this evidence showing he is innocent, he is still locked up. To R. Kelly, when you're free you need new friends, because these truly weren't your friends. They were only using you for what they could get out of you. According to Jennifer, the speed with which Judge Ann Donnelly moved to take money out of R. Kelly's commissary was indeed revealing of an underlying injustice yet to be explained. While she had already given a judgment that required these accusers be compensated, all she needed to do was wait and be sure her judgment stands before making such moves to garnish the defendant's accounts. It's funny to note that while it took 2 years for R. Kelly to be tried before the court of law and everyone was patient, the judge could not wait a few months to garnish his commissary. According to Mary J. In fact, R. Kelly deserves to get all his money back, especially the amounts that were taken out of his commissary account even before the Chicago trial could take effect. The speed with which the Brooklyn federal judge was operating, demanding that he make his pre-sentencing mitigation submissions before the next trial, even if attorney Bonjean had asked that the sentencing be pushed to a later date to avoid self-incrimination, was alarming. And when it came to paying the government allies in the disguise of witnesses, she wasted no time either. Was it really necessary to take money out of R. Kelly's commissary, yet he had his loyalties in millions lying on his Sony account? I guess the reason she did this is because she knew well that the monies with Sony were already in the bag anyway, considering the company was a government ally all along. If you wish to take part in a live interview on this channel discussing any of these topics, let us know by emailing us on sashahnnewsroom@gmail.com for scheduling. That is all we had for you today on HN What's Your Say. To keep updated whenever we post a new video, subscribe to this channel now. Also remember to hit the bell icon and enable notifications. And feel free to share your opinions with us in the comment section below, and let us know if you would like us to publish your views in our next release. We value all our subscribers' opinions.